I'm Elisa Mortensen, and this is Undo Redo.
Hi, friends. I want to know how everything is going for you because I haven't done a check-in for a minute. So let's just do that real quick. Like, how's your body feeling right now? What is your overall mood lately? Maybe you've been feeling busy or overwhelmed. Maybe you're a little bit lost. I know I feel like the rest of us, we're all looking for answers, but you could just be curious. Like, I'm going to try a bunch of things just to find out what works, which I love that kind of an attitude. Keep it up. It's super helpful to notice what kind of thoughts we have and what kind of energy and mood we've been having, even recently in days, because you need to know how you feel day to day. It helps you kind of figure out like where you're going and see if it matches with where you want to be. On this podcast, I talk a lot about, and I have new followers, so I talk a lot about how important it is for parents, leaders, and caregivers to do inner work. And why? Because it's honestly true that we all wish we could change people that we're in charge of, just so our lives could be easier. But here's the truth. When we grow and when we adapt and when we change ourselves, we become better at managing our own emotional responses, and we become the example of calm for the people we care for. And it increases our relationships. Like, you think it's them? Guess what? It's us, right? And then when we change, it inspires other people to change, and it shifts the relationship just automatically. When one person changes the dance step, right? You start stepping on toes. It gets super uncomfortable, but they learn not to put their toes in the way because that's your new move. Okay. I've been doing this kind of work in my own life for about 5 years, and it's been a life changer for me, but it's also changed everyone around me. I had no idea it would look like this, but I'm so glad that I started when I did. And I'll never go back. You couldn't pay me enough to go back. I used to act a certain way and treat people that I'm responsible for or in relationships with like this certain way. But back then I didn't realize how much I was settling and blaming others or procrastinating. Blaming others was a big one for me. And it let me avoid taking responsibility. If it was always their fault, then I didn't have to do anything about it. But once I started to own my part, like take responsibility for what I was actually showing up as, everything began to change. And it's been such an amazing journey. I'm here to help you with yours too. Does anyone out there use Chat GPT or AI to answer some of their questions or find some guidance? I know these days anyone can ask AI to come up with a great plan. Like, how do I get others to listen to me? Right? But I looked it up and there's always something missing. AI doesn't know your personality or the other person's personality. It might tell you to kind of push and enforce rules, have authority to get someone else to listen. But what if that person needs encouragement and support and more clarity and guidance? Pushing them and punishing them could make it worse. And AI doesn't know all the details. All the details that you already know about your situation and the people that you're trying to reach, AI doesn't know any of that. So it's great for giving an outline, but it can't fully replace a really healthy advice and a clear understanding and what you already know. So it kind of goes something like this. You want to hear? I looked it up. Begin with connection. Stay away from correcting them first thing when you see them. Be fully present. So no distractions. Don't be doing anything else. Show that they're important. Use I statements instead of you statements to reduce their defensiveness. Keep calm to invite in their engagement. Frame the topic in their perspective. So like say, here is how this helps you, or this is what's in it for you. The next one is set the stage. Notice your timing and the environment and when they're available. If they're not in the middle of anything, right? You have their attention. So set the stage with like, you have their undivided attention too. The next one is ask, don't tell. Use open-ended questions to invite their opinions and kind of partner with them in collaboration. So ask and don't tell. The next one is reinforce interactions. Like, I appreciate you taking the time to hear me out, or I appreciate you listening. The next one, stay curious. Don't react with any judgment because sometimes they're defiant or they shut you down. Just stay curious. Don't react with any judgment about it and ask them what's on their mind. So stay in curiosity instead of reacting. The last one is teach them. When we both listen to what each other says, we understand and can work better together. So that's AI's 10 steps to getting someone to listen to you. And really, by doing these 10 steps that AI and ChatGPT say, by approaching it this way, you build connection instead of tension, and a mutual respect can be formed when you're following this kind of approach. It's actually a great outline. Here's what I think as a coach when it comes to AI answers. There's something really big missing, and I've already kind of touched on it. AI can't understand your unique thoughts about the person, who you are dealing with, and the history you shared with them. It doesn't know the patterns in how you talk to each other and what you're already expecting. The conversations that you've had, the situations that you've been through together, it doesn't know any of those things. AI can't see the hurt feelings, the times that went wrong, how both of you poorly reacted or got defensive, and you expect certain things from each other now. Sometimes, most of the time, the worst things. We're not expecting the best things out of everyone. Let's just be honest. And when we expect the worst, we stop seeing the best in them. Even though it exists, we're not seeing it. That's what makes it really hard to believe in them or give them the benefit of the doubt. Because our brains are holding on to all the bad things from the past that they have done. What someone said, what someone did, and those thoughts create strong negative emotions, strong negative thoughts about the person. So if we're not careful, these emotions make it feel like our judgments are true facts. But really, most of the time, the bad things, the quote unquote bad things that someone did are really just misunderstandings and miscommunications, and we're guilty of the very same thing. Just normal human mistakes. So when our emotions run high, both sides can get confused as to what's really true. People overreact and get defensive and all that kind of stuff. And suddenly a small issue turns into a huge fight. And words get thrown back and forth. The main goal of working together just gets lost in an argument of who wins this fight. Our brains love to replay these stories about arguments and fights and our worst moments and who has blame. And we hold on to these stories as proof and we keep them alive. It's a loop that we just get stuck in. It makes moving forward so much harder. So if you want to get somebody to listen to you, but you already have all of these patterns in place, AI does a great job outlining how to get somebody to listen to you. But where I come in is to help you see things more clearly because there's all these weeds to sort through. You're like, yeah, those 10 things are awesome, but how do I do that with this person that's, difficult? And we have this whole story together. There's this big mess. So as your coach, I make it really easy to sort through all those weeds and all that messy stuff and focus on the facts. We leave the emotions out of it and you become a really strong leader that someone respects because you don't get caught up in the drama or the stories. You get to stand with everyone and for a greater cause and not against anyone. You'll rise above all the arguments and you keep that bigger picture in mind, which keeps you calm and steady. This also helps you truly listen to and care about them in a deeper way. Let me ask you something real quick. Do you know someone who adores you? Because when someone really loves and adores you and believes in you so big, don't you just want to do anything for them? You do anything for them. You trust what they say because you know that they care about you no matter what. And that feeling of being adored and believed in is so powerful. Like they believe I can do it, therefore I believe I can do it. It helps people see how amazing they are and it makes them want to do their best. So getting someone to listen to you starts with believing in them that you believe they will listen to you. And it's changing your story around them that gives them more the benefit of the doubt than it does all of your doubt and disapproval. When someone believes in us, it's almost like their belief spreads into us and we start believing ourselves too. It's super contagious and very inspiring. And how do I know this is true? Because if you look at it from the other side, unfortunately, the opposite thing can happen too. If a leader or parent does not believe in you or trust that you can do something, you might start to believe that about yourself, and it can really hurt. If you're in charge of people and you're doing everything for them, it might feel to them like they aren't trusted to do it themselves, or you don't believe that they're capable. On the other hand, if you don't help them at all or give them clear directions and you only talk to them when you're upset and you want to punish them, and dump all of your emotions on them and make them responsible for your happiness or your misery, it can feel like you care more about fixing the problem or their behavior than you do about them as a person. So when you only show your own stress and you ignore their feelings, it doesn't feel like you really care. It just feels like you want things to go your way. and you throw big fits until you get your way. Here's something else to think about. When you're looking at the days ahead and you're predicting what might happen, try giving others the benefit of the doubt. Talk to them about what you expect, but also let them make their own choices instead of controlling everything. Maybe they have an awesome way to get to that same result, and you don't have to micromanage. After all, we can't predict the future. So if anything is possible, wouldn't it feel better to everyone in the moment to believe and cheer someone on instead of doubting and disapproving of them? Be honest with them. Explain to them really clearly what you mean, and let them do the same so you both feel understood. Then, if things don't go as planned after some time or whatever timeline you agreed on, or just figure out what you both need to do next, what you'd both like to do in the situation. Maybe you'll need to explain the task again, hold them accountable, ask them what should be done if they don't show up, and give them the opportunity to share, or give them more support through it, kind of hold their hand till you know they understand. Or maybe you've already tried all that and they knew they weren't following through like they said they would. And then you have a conversation about that. You gather all that evidence and you come and here's what has happened, and you keep it very neutral. Sometimes it's even you who may have not done what you said you would. What did you promise them that you would do? Down inside, you already know if you did your part or not. And sometimes we can't blame them fully. You're not listening to me. Maybe I didn't explain it very well. And sometimes things don't go as planned, and that's okay. Without feeling bad, without creating drama, you just follow through with the plan that you both agreed on. And if you haven't done that before, then start doing that. I highly recommend it. Maybe that's the first time that something went wrong and you need to make a plan for exactly what to do next time. But just make sure everyone understands by repeating it back and knowing what to expect, writing it down, whatever, but keep it calm inside yourself and keep it very neutral. No yelling, no blaming, no arguments. Everybody has the freedom to make their own choices. Whether they show up or not is up to them. And then you do with what the information comes after with what you'd like to do. There's no benefit to controlling or attacking anyone when things go wrong. The easiest way to lead or manage people is to stay in a clear-minded, focused on the goal state of mind, and to work with yourself to think that you are together for the purpose, not against them. It helps everyone win. It all starts with how you perceive and think about the situation that you're in with them. Is your intention against them or for them? Because that matters. It also matters whether you tell yourself if it's easy or hard. If you keep telling yourself it's too hard, it's going to feel harder. But if you decide to believe in it, if you decide to believe it will get easier as you try, then you'll find it really can be. So let's you and I work on that together. Learning how to think and communicate is really easier than you think, and it's so worth it. But learning how to think like a leader and a parent and a caregiver and communicate in this way is so much easier than you can imagine, and it's so worth it. You'll help yourself and everyone else grow. If you thought of someone that you think might need to hear this, share it with them, because that's how the heavens reach out. We lighten each other's loads. We help each other. So be there for someone. And if you want a custom plan that's guaranteed to work for you in your situation so you can rise to the next level of your best parent or leader, let's hop on a free consultation. I'll ask you a few questions and we'll see if it's a good fit. So till next time, we'll chat again. Love you all. Bye.